Hey guys, it's great to see you again, and don't worry, I survived the whole shark experience. If you don't know what I'm talking about right now, you should go and watch my last video. It was just an insane experience. Probably the most crazy thing I've ever done in my life. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're gonna talk about the top 5 cameras of 2018. And these are kind of the mid-budget range. They're not the most expensive cameras, and they're not the cheapest cameras either. And again, these are just my opinions. These are not some sort of written rule, a fact, a law. Just my opinions. And it's a good thing to note that I mostly just look at video features. I don't really care about the photo side as much. I think almost all of these cameras do pretty well in photography, but video is really what I look at. But before we get into that, I just want to remind you guys that I am filming a documentary, and we're actually doing a Kickstarter to raise funds for that documentary. The documentary is about this small little mining town with some of the most interesting people that I've ever met in my life, and I'm really looking forward to telling that whole story. But it's also really cool because you guys get to be a part of the whole thing. You guys get the behind the scenes look. There's a whole bunch of different live Q&As and videos that we'll be making around that documentary. So if you want to be a part of it, if you want to support that documentary, check out the Kickstarter. I think there's only a couple days left. Thank you in advance, really appreciate it. All that money's gonna be going to flights and basically all just the logistics, editors, all of that stuff. I don't even know if I'm gonna get paid from this, but I don't care. It's more of a passion project for me. Just something that I'm really excited to be a part of. All right, so let's get into the top 5 cameras in my opinion. And this was actually really hard, so bear with me. Number 5, I would give a bit of a tie, even though they're completely different cameras, to the Nikon Z6 and the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 4K camera. Both are very interesting cameras. And the big problem here is that I haven't used either of them. So it's really hard for me to say exactly what these cameras are like because specs are very different from real world use. But I found them to be very interesting cameras. First off, the Nikon full frame 4K, and it actually does 10-bit 4K full frame, but it's recorded externally. But this is something that pretty much no other camera in this range can do. You basically have to go to some crazy cinema camera like Caleb Pike from DSLR Video Shooter was talking about. You have to pay a lot of money to get full frame 10-bit 4K. So that's really interesting. Again, I haven't tried it, so I can't say too much about it, but I really appreciate that Nikon is starting to kind of innovate and get better at their video side. Traditionally, they've been more of just kind of a stills camera, and their video has been not so good, but I feel like they're really starting to ramp up the video features also. And the Blackmagic Pocket camera is obviously very interesting, specs heavy, like a very weird camera in that it's kind of off on its own. It shoots RAW, it does 60p 4K, 120 frames in HD, dual native ISOs. There's just so many different things going on in this camera, which makes it very interesting. But it also kind of seems too good to be true in some ways. So I have some reservations, especially with kind of the history of Blackmagic. A lot of times they kind of promise things and they're like semi-true. There's a lot of good things, but then there's a lot of weird quirks and things that don't work super well. And then also it's a micro four thirds camera, and then I think it crops in some more on the HD 120 frame. So that's a bit of a problem for me. I really like full frame. Micro four thirds is way smaller than full frame. Also, no autofocus. That makes it very problematic for me, for my type of filmmaking right now that I do. But for other people, this will probably be a great camera. My reservations might totally be wrong, but I do need to test it out first before I can kind of give my full review on this camera, because I'm just going by specs right now. Number 4 is the GoPro Hero 7. Now, I've had a GoPro for a long time, and I always think, oh, I'm just gonna take my GoPro along. It'll be really great and convenient to film the snowboarding or snorkeling or whatever it is. And then I look at the footage and I'm like, dang it, it just doesn't look good. But the Hero 7 is the first time that I used it, first day using it, it just looked really, really good. And the big reason for that is its crazy stabilization now that it has. I honestly, it made me say wow, and not too many cameras or things in cameras make me say wow. So that's the big reason why I'm giving the GoPro Hero 7 the number 4 spot, is because it's just a very impressive little tiny camera. And it's really, I think it's the camera that they always wanted to make, and it's finally here. So if you're looking to upgrade, highly recommend getting the Hero 7. And then the number 3 spot, I'm gonna give to the Fujifilm X-T3. This was kind of like just a surprise camera to me. I wasn't really expecting that much from it, but they offered to send me one to test out, and yeah, it's a really impressive camera. Very specs heavy again, 4K 60p, it does 10-bit 4K, Super 35 sensor, so it's a little bit bigger than a Micro Four Thirds, but not quite as big as full frame. 120 frames per second, great color science. The autofocus, that was the big surprise for me. It's actually really good, and I found it to be even better than Sony, which I was not expecting at all. It wasn't quite as good as Canon, but very impressive. You could fully rely on the Fujifilm X-T3's autofocus. The only big downsides would be the no flip LCD screen, like I'm always complaining about, and then no IBIS. You do get a lot of that shake. There isn't even an electronic stabilization mode, so you're gonna get those little jitters, especially in 24p. So that is something that you need to look out for. You're gonna need to stabilize your footage, use a monopod, glide cam, gimbal, whatever, when you're moving it around. It will shake on you. But a very impressive camera, highly recommend checking it out, testing it out for yourself, and see if it fits for you. And then the number 2 spot, and some of you are gonna get very angry with me, I'm gonna give it to the Canon EOS R. Bear with me, bear with me. This really is one of my favorite cameras to use right now. And there's a lot of people complaining about it, and I don't think those people have actually used it yet, at least. I think they're just going by specs, and if we look at the specs, it is very underwhelming. There's not much interesting going on specs-wise. There's a lot of little cool features that they've put into the mirrorless, but specs-wise, not impressive. But as soon as you start using it, you start realizing that it's actually a lot better than you would think. And the big reason for me is the image. The image is just really nice. The colors, the log profile, it just works really well, in my opinion, from what I've used it. I really enjoy it. And there's something about Canons that just make them really easy to use. The menus, everything kind of just makes sense. Not to mention flip LCD screen. I'm a big fan of that. Really like using the flip LCD screen. I don't like always having, like I have a little monitor right here. I don't like having to rely on an external monitor. I like just having the flip LCD screen, seeing myself, or I'm filming down low, being able to see what I'm actually filming up high, all of that stuff. Really enjoyed the flip LCD screen. And then of course autofocus, it just works really well, and you know that I need that autofocus. So for me, the Canon EOS R, although very underwhelming in specs, I am actually enjoying it a lot, and it's one of the most enjoyable cameras for me to use in 2018. Obviously, it would be great to have things like no crop 4K or 120p in 1080. I would love to have that. That would be really, really nice. But for vloggers who don't need 4K and don't need super slow motion, 60p is still great. For those people, this is probably the best camera out there right now. I think this is the closest to a perfect vlogging camera there is right now. Definitely not perfect yet, but I think it is the best option for a lot of people. Let's be honest, not everybody needs 4K right now, and not everybody needs super slow motion either. So for those people that don't need it, definitely check out the EOS R. And then lastly, the number 1 spot, I'm gonna give in 2018 to the Sony a7 III. This camera specs wise is just kidded. It basically has all the specs that you would want. 4K, 120p, great autofocus, great dynamic range and S-Log. The colors are pretty decent. It just ticks a lot of the boxes that most people would want. Even things like IBIS. It has pretty much all of those things that you would want or need. The only big thing that it's missing is a flip LCD screen, and because the autofocus isn't quite as good as Canon's, there's times where I really wish I had a flip LCD so I could see is it focusing or not. But of course, that's not something that everybody needs. Not everybody uses autofocus. So if you're one of those filmmakers that films other people more so, flip LCD screen isn't quite as crucial. And there is one other thing that I don't enjoy enjoy as much about the Sonys is that they're not quite as easy to use. There's just something about them, the menus, the way things work, they're not quite as intuitive, not quite as enjoyable to use, but also over time you kind of get used to them and you don't think about it as much. But the real reason why I think the Sony a7 III is the camera of the year is that it's just so versatile. It fits pretty much any kind of filmmaking style right now, whether you're a YouTuber, you're an indie filmmaker, wedding shooter, you shoot corporate videos, music videos, pretty much anything and everything this camera can do in some capacity. It's not perfect for everything, but it can pretty much do everything. It is really versatile, the most versatile camera, and at a decent price. It's not crazy expensive. It's a lot cheaper than you would think when you look at those specs. So for me, I'm kind of bouncing back and forth right now between the EOS R and the Sony a7 III. Again, this is just for me. Both these cameras have a lot of things that I like. Neither of them is perfect, and both of them are great cameras. Don't get me wrong, all these cameras are great cameras, but these are the two that I'm kind of going back and forth between right now. As always though, when I'm talking about cameras, I always want to remind you guys, find the right camera for you. No camera is going to be perfect for everybody, so test these cameras out. There's a lot of hate on the EOS R, and I think that's mostly because they just haven't even tried it out. As soon as you try it out, you realize, okay, there's actually a place for this camera. It's not for everybody, but there's definitely a place for it. All right, I guess that's it for this video. Those are my top 5 cameras of 2018. Obviously, there's tons of other great cameras that I haven't tried out, cameras that I don't even know about right now. There's so many great cameras, and I just love that there's tons of different companies really pushing it. It just means that there's gonna be better and better cameras for us to use, which means that we're gonna have more fun and make better content, make better films. So I'm really excited. I'm really curious to see what 2019 brings, but I'm also really happy with the cameras we have in 2018. It's kind of unreal, the options we have, and it's also very funny, I think, that we complain about our cameras, because never in history have we had so many great options at such affordable prices. Cameras used to be insane prices. Now for like under $1,000, you can get a pretty decent camera already. All right, that's it. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.